The cat is elusive.
Who brought the cat?
He's walking to the 3. He's at the 2. Fielding the cat runs into the end zone. That is a touchdown.
Snap, placement, kicked by Hartley, and it is good! It's good! It's good! Pigs have flown. Hell is frozen over. The Saints are on their way to the Super Bowl.
All right, everyone. Welcome back to the Fifth Down. I'm the captain.
I'm Tootsie.
Yeah, I lost what I was going to say. All right, guys. Before we jump into the Week 3 recap, we want to just go ahead and, shout out some love to South and Central Florida right now, which is about to get pummeled by Category 4 hurricane. Tootsie and I, we just, I personally want to, thoughts and prayers for them because they're going to need it. We went through this last year with Hurricane
Ida,
yeah. Damn,
another
the eyes
eye.
are just killing it, yeah.
The eyes have it.
I mean, we know how in a blink of an eye, in a matter of hours, things can just, go awry. Things can be bad. Studios can be blown away, taken down, and then we're forced to live stream on. Yeah, from our houses. So, things happen, but, I think everybody should, keep those guys in your thoughts for the next couple of days because, this is a serious thing that's happening.
Yeah. It's a Category 4, a Category 5, and no joke.
Yeah.
Well, once you hit 4, it's just...
It doesn't matter at that point. A number is just a moot point.
The amount of wind and rain and... I mean, I haven't seen the eye of that thing. The red it's a smaller hurricane than Ida, but it's way more powerful.
Yeah.
And that's that could be really bad, like the windstorms and stuff like that. The rain might not be as bad, but the storm surge is going to be a beast.
Yeah.
And
so if you know somebody in that area, and if they still have time, tell them to hit the road and get out.
Yeah. Tell them pack up all the valuables, get the hell.
Yeah, it's not worth sticking around. It's not worth trying to be a man and ride it out because it's no fun. So,
no.
But our thoughts and prayers, from the Fifth down to everybody down in South and Central Florida. Our thoughts are with you. So, with that being said, on to the Week 3 recap.
Oh,
yeah.
yeah.
You want to take it away?
Oh, sure thing, guys. Okay, so Week 3. What the hell is going on this season?
I don't know. the weirdest season of football through 3 weeks of football.
Starting
the NFL has taken place.
Starting on the most user-unfriendly interface I have ever seen. Thursday Night Football on Amazon. Browns 29 over the Steelers 17. Bears over the Texans 23-20. Titans eke past the Raiders 24-22. Colts over the Chiefs 20-17. More on that later. Dolphins over the Bills. My God, 21-19. Good job by both defenses in this game. Vikings 28 over the Lions, 24. Ravens 37 over the Patriots, 26. This was a come alive game for sure for the Ravens. Bengals get back on track, 27-12 over the Jets. Eagles 24 over the Commanders, 8. Saints fall into the Panthers, 22-14. Jaguars beat the Chargers, 38-10, in probably the most Cinderella team of the year. Rams over the Cardinals, 20-12. Falcons over the Seahawks, 27-23. Green Bay beats out the Bucks, 14-12. We'll get to that later. Broncos over the 49ers. Dear God, 11-10. The Broncos have scored, I want to say, 1 touchdown a game so far this year. It's that bad. Cowboys on Monday Night Football, after a slugfest in the first 2, come out ahead 23-16 over the Giants. Gonna say, man, the boys are doing what they need to do to win without Dak Prescott.
Yeah, I mean Cooper Rush is like the new Dak Prescott. When Tony Romo went down and Dak Prescott came in, he went on a roll and he did the same thing that Cooper Rush is doing now. So, what's going to happen in Dallas, we don't know. I'm betting they go back to Dak Prescott, but Mike McCarthy, you never know what's going to happen. So, that guy's an awesome coach.
I'm trying to envision the ways Mike McCarthy can get fired. And there's no way Mike McCarthy gets fired that Sean Payton doesn't immediately gravitate toward that, And it's just.
I mean, if we're talking Sean Payton, I kind of have two ideas on where he can end up, right? Cowboys have always been the talk, but I think that the dark horse runner might be Las Vegas. That is a highly talented team. You can say what you want about Derek Carr. He's still a good quarterback. Yes, he's taking some. He's taking some flack for things that's going down. The way that team is playing right now is not necessarily his fault.
No, it's his offensive line. It's terrible.
Same thing in New Orleans' offensive line, and I don't really want to harp on anything that's going on bad on that game because I just don't feel like talking about it anymore. But
nothing went well. Nothing went well.
Offensive
about that.
Offensive line is the key. That has been one of the strengths of the Saints for years, and now it's one of our biggest weaknesses.
Well, I mean, they're stacking a box with 9 guys, right? There's nothing you can do against that.
Yeah.
Because we can't get the running game going, and
because the offensive line sucks.
Yeah, because your offensive line can't do anything. So they stack the box. They force Jameis to throw it. He's got the most deep attempts in the league so far. He's got the most air yards in the league, and he's got the most interceptions. I think, unless somebody has more interceptions,
he may not. I mean, Joe Burrow might be up there.
So, but I mean,
Jameis
either
got
way,
5. So Joe Burrow might be up there higher than him right now because I think Burrow threw 5 in one game.
I think Burrow might have 6. But the point is, you're getting a lot of bad plays. I do like what I'm seeing from Chris Olave. I think he's the bright spot right now in this whole thing. And him and Jameis, they're figuring that connection out. The first 2 weeks, he was trying to feed him, and it just didn't connect. Again, it's like we have one good quarter in the fourth quarter. And it's like where
I'm just disgusted with it.
Someone told me today it's Pete Carmichael. Maybe he's a little stale, and I'm like, you know what? That's possible. I think him staying over was good for continuity, but I think it's time for a fresh face.
Yeah, we said that last week, right? We said it's stale. You can see what's going on. We're telling our plays before we even run them. With the receiver package we have in, we know who's going to be doing what. We know if Michael Thomas and Jarvis Landry and Chris Olave, and it's going to be a pass play. If Landry and Thomas hit the sidelines, we're going to run the ball. If Taysom's in the backfield, he's going to run the ball. And it's just they're not mixing it up right. They need to figure that out. And I think a lot of it has to do with the fact that most of these guys didn't play together in the preseason, with Jameis having that ankle injury throughout the preseason, never really got to develop that. So I feel like we're going through a preseason moment right now, getting our offense rolling. But there definitely needs to be a change in the offensive line. But that's all I can say about this craptastic team that we have going on right now.
I don't know how else to. I can't follow that up at all because it's just. I was just in head and hands, just like what the shit.
And we're both going to be up at 8:30 on Sunday morning, drinking a cup of coffee, Irish coffee, if you will. Have some mimosas or Bloody Marys and just watching this game.
Getting this England game and going,
Yeah, maybe some tea. Maybe we'll have some tea, because it's in English. Spots of tea. I don't know how
tea
that
and
works.
Crumpets. There we go.
Yeah, sure. But I mean, we got that game kicking off at 8:30 on Sunday morning. But
for my note to self, buy crumpets.
That's enough about them. What's a crumpet? I've heard of a crumpet.
It's a crumpet.
All right, let's. I'm done with that. I don't want to talk about them anymore.
Poof, done. All right. Well, we start with the Titans, and the Raiders. So the Raiders, 0-3, but they're a 3-0, 0-3. if you know what I mean.
Yeah,
This
but
team
I
is,
mean,
they're close to getting it together, but look, Derek Carr has just been not great.
and same thing we said. It's offensive line. If he doesn't have time to sit back and drop and throw the ball, if he can't get the running game going, if there's three phases to the offense, right? You got to have great offensive line play. A great offensive line play opens up the running game. Running game opens up the passing game. It's like you have to have all those three things going down. And if just one of those legs is broken, you have a broken offense, and that's
And I mean,
what
look,
they have going on there.
Vegas only got 96 yards on the ground. And so you can't, if you're watching under 100 yards, you're gonna struggle.
I mean, they're right there, but I mean, it's just poor offensive line play, and that dictates everything that's going on. Like
Tennessee's coming together a little bit. So I mean, look, Derrick Henry, they're using him in the passing game, which is something they haven't done in the last 2 years. That is starting to show some dividends.
He had 20 carries for 85 yards.
Yep, touchdown, and he had 5 receptions for another 58 yards. So I mean, look, let's not forget, Derrick Henry is like a superhuman. The guy is just a freak. And they need to use it. They need to take advantage of that. This team is going to have to find its center around him. Ryan Tannehill is not going to be winning you games. So it's going to have to come from Henry. Just like with Green Bay this year, it's not going to be Aaron Rodgers. It is going to be A.J. Dillon and
Aaron Jones.
Yeah. Yeah. Brain goes poof.
Yeah. What's a brain at the end of the day, right? All right. So
that's that. Bears beat out the Texans. I kind of just saw some of the highlights from this. It was pretty good game. Nice little defensive battle in the back end. So I mean,
you say Bears beat up on the Texans. I mean, it was 23-3. They beat out the Texans.
That's what I meant to say. Yes.
Okay. Yeah. It wasn't a beat up situation, right? Davis Mills had a rough go. 20 for 32, 245 yards, 1 touchdown, 2 interceptions. Damian Pierce finally got something rolling. 20 carries for 80 yards, averaging 4 yards a carry at 1 touchdown. He was their breakout star that was going to come out, and they haven't even really handed him the ball until this week. And he paid off for it. Sitting on my bench finally. Might get some love out of him. Justin Fields.
David Montgomery goes down. Justin Fields had another rough day.
Justin Fields 8 for 17, 106 yards, 2 interceptions. That's just not going to cut it. I mean, he made up for it a little bit, I guess, in the run game. 8 carries for 47 yards. That's not great. I mean, 5.9 average, so it's good. But I mean, when you have receivers, you're looking at Darnell Mooney, Equanimeous St. Brown, Byron Pringle. These are guys who've been successful in other teams. Or St. Brown and Pringle have been successful in other teams. Darnell Mooney kind of had a name made for himself here. Cole Kmet as your tight end, and you're only throwing for 100-something yards. I mean, that's not going to work, guys. Yes, you got the win, but you played probably the only team that you could have got a win on by playing this way. So something has to happen there. On that, I mean, the Bears are 2-1. So I mean, hell, what's it matter, right? Got a winning record.
It doesn't matter how you win. It just matters that you win. And look, it's another thing. Chiefs had a rough one against the Colts. The Colts defense really showed up this game. They did show why that they were a preseason favorite for top 5. Little bit of a beefage going on with Bieniemy and Mahomes there at the half. Mahomes didn't like the kneel it out to close out the quarter and not take a unnecessary Hail Mary shot. Yeah.
But you see, that's Mahomes. Mahomes is that guy. He has the ball. He wants to do it. He wants to run it. He wants to get the play in. He wants to score the touchdown. If there's 10 seconds left, he wants to use every single one of those seconds to try to put his team on top. And you can't blame him for that, but you also can't blame Eric Bieniemy for doing
No,
what
the
most
right
teams
thing.
would do at this
The
point.
right thing.
You know,
Yeah. And
So-
that was a good decision on his part, and I know there was a little bit of, and maybe that frustration carried on into the second half, which is why you had what happened happen.
you know, what was Mahomes' stat? 20 for 35, 262 yards, 1 touchdown, 1 interception. You know,
Easily
like you
one of the
said,
worst games of his career.
Yeah, 4 carries for 26 yards.
Clyde Edwards-Helaire gets dinged up in this one as well.
Yeah, he had 7 carries for 0 yards and 1 touchdown.
Got stuffed.
I'm so confused on what's happening in this season right now. I mean, you had the Colts,
I quit.
right? with Colts numbers. So you had Matt Ryan, 27 to 37, 222 yards, 2 touchdowns. You had Jonathan Taylor still not coming alive yet. A lot of people used him in the first round pick, which if I'd have been a first rounder, you know, number 1 pick, I would have used him there too. But he just hasn't come alive for you this year in fantasy. But 21 carries for 71 yards. I mean, you got
3.4 yards a carry.
71, 11. So you got 82 yards, but you know, combined between everyone else. You know, Michael Pittman, 8 receptions for 72 yards.
He's
Alec
back.
Pierce, 3 receptions for 61 yards.
That was the missing piece. Michael Pittman
So,
for them is just really
you know,
gonna. That's what's gonna
yeah,
keep the Colts above 20 points.
Yeah, I mean, look, something's going to roll around for this team eventually, and I think a lot of it. I think this is more of a extended preseason, and that might be why we're getting these weird games and everything that's been going on for the past 3 weeks has not been fantastic. I mean, a lot of these teams sat their starters throughout all of preseason in those 3 games, and you know, I think that rolls out. It's a weird situation.
let's not. Okay, so let's not forget what happened at the end of this game. Okay, the interception to round it out, right?
Mm-hmm.
You know, so Mahomes throws the interception, and it goes horribly. So, you know that you put it in Patrick's hands at the end, and that happens, and it sucks. But let's go to another close game that had a weird ending, which is the Bills and Dolphins. Okay, Buffalo is still, in my opinion, the team to beat, but the Dolphins are 3-0, and they cannot be ignored. This is not a they played 3 shitty teams. No.
I will say Dolphins. This though, pump the brakes on the Dolphins because we saw this from 2 years ago. You know, they went like 7-0, and then they finished out the season 8-8. So, I mean, we just need a I'm good for them right now. Like, awesome, good job, guys. You're top in the league. You're doing what you got to do. You're 3-0.
There are 2 3-0 teams in the NFL. One of them is the Dolphins.
The fact that Tua was allowed to continue to play after the obvious concussion call. I mean,
that was horrible.
You know, I feel like they're saying,
was horrible.
You know, and if you listen to former players, they're talking about the concussion protocols, and they're like, it's really not that hard to pass. You know, they're like, who's the president? You know, oh, Joe Biden. Even he gets that one right. You know, it's just they ask the simplest questions. How many fingers am I holding up? And they're like, 3. Yeah, he wouldn't have got that right if he was good anyway. Go ahead and put him back out on the field. You know, I mean,
he got his bell wrong, dude. He needed.
You know, you're looking at him, and that was definitely a concussion. And I think the Dolphins are going to be getting some kind of punishment for putting him back out there.
Yeah, well, the players' union filed their complaint against it. And they should have. And
but let's talk about the greatest play that took place in this game, and that is the butt punt.
No, the butt. That's right, the butt
punt.
So that's 2 great plays. Jeez.
So we have the butt punt. Thomas Morstead punted it up that guy's. Whew, he wasn't walking straight after that. But I mean, you know, the butt punt joins the butt fumble, which joins the butt interception. So, I mean, we almost have that's the trifecta of butt plays. So, all right, you want to talk about the way this game ended?
Yeah, so let's talk about this last play, okay? I mean, you're going down. You go 7 plays, 36 yards for Buffalo, right? They get down. He has a short pass to Gabe Davis, right? There's a penalty, I believe, for offensive holding 10 yards, whatever, forced. No play. Okay, so he passes to the middle to Isaiah McKenzie, gets 12 yards, puts him right in the middle, right? They go to set the ball. You've got 7 seconds, I think, on the clock.
Yeah, something crazy like that.
So Allen's trying to get the ball to the refs, and this is the second game Sunday that this happened. Set the ball. Can't get it off in time.
Mm-hmm.
So, I mean, it's one of these, we saw it last year with Dallas in the playoffs. It happened again here.
Yeah, but the one with Dallas in the playoffs, that was
a risky call. Everything had to go perfect.
And same thing here. Everything had to go perfect. But, I mean, if there's players in the way and they're blocking it and stuff like that.
They should have.
I mean, they can't, but, I mean, maybe that's something that needs to be reviewed in the rules, in the rules committee next year, that if we're in the last 2 minutes of the game and defensive players are lying down on the ground or over the ball or over players, not letting them get up, maybe that should be a delay of game against the defense, because you are
I'm
heating
okay with
the play of the game.
I'm okay with going to college in the last 2 minutes. A first down doesn't stop. It stops the clock to set the ball. I'm okay with
I mean, that would work too. Yeah, I like that. Just in the last 2 minutes of the
just in the last 2
half.
minutes. Just in the last 2 minutes of the game. And
I would say last 2 minutes in the half. Give them the first half, second half, last 2 minutes and a half, and make it happen. Sure. I could agree with that.
I think that's a fair, because that's what these guys are coming from now in college, and it works in college, and it gives you a real chance to pull off a last-minute drive. And, you have to do all these things. Yeah, you have to spike it. But in the NFL, why should you have less of a chance?
Well, in the NFL, you're at the mercy of the refs. And, like I said, the players can lay on the ball and do everything else.
Because that's the point.
So, I mean, when you put the game in the hands of the refs usually
It's easy to get screwed. It's easy to get screwed. It's easy to get screwed when the refs decide you're fake. So that's the Bills game. Very heartbreaking end. Tua and Josh Allen at the end was kind of touching. It's like, here's these two guys, like, just gave it all, man. The defense has played so well in this game. I am starting both of these defenses in fantasy going forward. I mean, they're just...
Well, look, I have to give my regards to Tua, who I gave a lot of crap to headed into the season. Not really giving him the respect, I guess, if you will. And he's proven so far in this season, proven me wrong, and a lot of other people wrong. So, I mean,
look, you give him these kind of weapons that he's got, and he lifted his game to make these weapons relevant. It's easy to screw up with those kind of weapons, okay? But, I'd put him above Kirk Cousins right now. I'd put him above Derek Carr. I'd put him above a lot of people. I mean, the guy is top QB in fantasy.
Yeah.
Right?
Hey, look, I want to go back.
Top,
I want to go back real quick. I missed this in the comment earlier, and this just popped up. But basically, I want to say, Andrew, I agree with you. Jameis is not the only issue. Like I said before, I believe it's more of the offensive line and the play calling. You agree with me there that it's predictable. But as for saying he's the long-term option or not, I still think we have a short level, a short grade to give him on that. At this moment, I have to agree with you and say, no, he's not. But what else is really out there right now? Maybe him playing with the broken back is not the greatest thing.
I think the injury had more to do with it than anything else.
The predictable offensive calling, the bad offensive line play. I think those three things right there are not really giving him a fair shake. And maybe he's fallen into the injury-prone category. But hell, I mean, this season we kind of knew it was going to be rough. We had high hopes high expectations because of what we were looking at talent-wise. But new head coach, you know, Jameis taking over for starter. It's just a lot of things that we have to overcome. And it's a long season. I mean, we still have 14 games left to play. So all it takes is for it to click, and then forget about it. You know, the sky's the limit. So, but I think it starts with the offensive line before it can get anywhere else. I think
the play calling. I think it's just Pete Carmichael's gonna need to leave.
Yeah, I feel like I can do better right now.
I think he stayed for continuity, and I think he wanted to leave. So.
Yeah, and I also think maybe Dennis Allen needs to take a step back and allow someone else to call the defense so he can concentrate more on whatever else is going on the field.
I agree.
You know, instead of paying attention straight there on the defense.
All right, so
that's that.
Done with the Saints. All right,
we don't want to go too far into
that. The other 3-0 team in the NFL right now. The Eagles might be the best team on the field. Offense, defense, it's all clicking for them. They went up against a Commanders squad that had scored 30-something, over the last couple of games. Not the best team, but
I mean, they've had a pretty easy schedule headed so far.
I mean, Lions.
Is that right? Is that wrong?
Lions, Vikings, Commanders.
Lions, Vikings. So,
I mean,
Commanders.
The Lions have not been a bad team.
But they're still the Lions when everything's said and done.
The Vikings have.
The Vikings, they caught in prime time. You know, Kirk Cousins cannot play at night. And then the Commanders. But I mean, really,
look, they're 3-0, dude. They're ahead of them. They're ahead of the division. They're running.
Let's look at it, right? So, first quarter 0 points, second quarter 24, third quarter 0 points, fourth quarter 0 points. So you had a whole half of football where you did nothing on the field. And looking at his numbers, Jalen Hurts' numbers, 22 for 35, 340 yards, 3 touchdowns. You have that, you should have 3 touchdowns. Now, it's everything else that's a little disappointing, right? 15 carries from Miles Sanders for 46 yards. Jalen Hurts ran 9 times for 20 yards. Not a combined 100-yard rushing here. You don't have that. And we both spoke about it, and that's something that needs to take place on this game. Now, your receivers came through, Devonta Smith, 8 catches for 169 yards and a touchdown. A.J. Brown, which we kind of knew he was going to do good here anyway, 5 catches for 85 yards, 1 touchdown. Dallas Goedert, great tight end, taking over there, 3 catches, 26 yards and a touchdown. So, I mean, the players are there. They're doing a lot of the right things, but when you do it all in one quarter, there's 4 quarters in a football game. And we saw it with the Saints in Atlanta. You don't play all 4, you lose at some point. And, there you go. So,
yeah, but I mean, look, the defense is always, Fletcher Cox and company back there. They're doing their thing. They have kept these Eagles in the games for the last few years.
Yeah,
now they have the offense to match it.
Yeah.
And that's why they're 3-0.
Holding them up.
That's why they're ahead in the division, and that's why they're showing that they're the team to beat in the NFC.
Yeah, and we took them. I think you and I both had them at taking over the NFC East. So I think the only thing we missed on so far would be
Jaguars,
the
Jacksonville.
Saints.
Jacksonville, the Saints. I was way wrong about the Broncos. I think everybody was.
Yeah.
That's another thing. I mean, Broncos and 49ers fans, panic. It's time. There's nothing else to say about that game. Jesus. The Broncos have scored 1 touchdown per game. That's not going to win you any football games. Unless you're playing someone like 49ers. And
I don't know if that's Daniel Hackett.
Garoppolo's rust is bad. I don't think he's going to. I think he's glad he stayed because he realizing that what I'm seeing is not looking good for his prospects after this season.
Okay, but let's talk about that. Okay, and I think a lot of this has to do with the way that they played him in the preseason, right? So he was coming off of shoulder surgery. Jesus, I can talk. He came off the shoulder surgery, came back. They didn't bring him in. They didn't bring him in to training camp. He was on the team, but they were like, here's your playbook. Go practice over there. So he never took any snaps with the team. Nothing. They gave everything 100% to Trey Lance at this point. They never gave him snaps with the second team, first team, anybody at any point through preseason. He, practiced off-site. He wasn't even allowed at the 49ers facilities during the offseason and in the training camp. It wasn't until week 1, once they signed him to that new deal, they were like, okay, now you can come on and do your thing. So I think a lot of that has to do with their own fault of the way that they treated him going into the season. I don't know. I mean, Garoppolo's always been just good enough. That's always been his shtick. But when you don't have the practice to do it, it makes it a little harder to get there.
Yeah. I gotta see more. I'll give him another game. But
yeah,
we'll see.
That's it, dude. I got nothing else to say about this week except, welcome to another weird ass week of football.
I can't even fathom. Like the Vikings beating the Lions was kind of an upset. They rally, which is good for them.
Yeah, I mean, look, we talked about it last year with the Vikings, and they're just continuing on.
Bengals get a win, yay!
They're right there.
They're righting the ship. They can right the ship next week. Get to 500.
The
Chargers look like hot garbage. That's another should have pulled your starter and not played him in the end of
with bruised ass ribs.
Hell?
Another thing there. That's a division that we picked out to be the top of the league, and it's turning out to be just. You got the Broncos and the Raiders who just aren't doing shit. The Chargers aren't doing anything. It's ran by Kansas City again.
I was expecting to see some 2-1s, like a bunch of 2-1s in that whole division.
It was pumped up and it fell flat.
Say
the Chiefs are the only one with a winning division, with a winning record at 2-1.
Chargers are 1-2.
Yeah, Raiders are 0-3, and the Broncos are 2-1.
And the Broncos are 2-1. But it's like the ugliest 2-1 you could ever imagine.
Yeah, they're like the Browns of the 2-1.
It's a 500 division. It's a 500 division. That's insane.
So, all right. So let's move on to next week.
Cowboys. Good job, Cowboys.
Ugh.
Micah Parsons and Trayvon Diggs are.
That's their defense. I mean, it's they're good. They're good. Don't get me wrong.
Look,
they have a way to count, but. Yeah, he's stepped up his game a lot, right? He's becoming more of that traditional cover guy, but he can still get you that interception.
He's a ball hawk, man. He iced it last night. Good job.
All right, so in week 3, we got a few things going down here. We got the first game that's taking place out of the country for the season.
In London, yes.
Saints are playing the Vikings in London. The Saints will be debuting their black helmets this week. Also, tomorrow on the Thursday night game, on Amazon Prime, y'all can send us some money for giving y'all, a plug here. But the Bengals will be debuting their white helmet that they have. So, look forward to that. A lot of people are talking about the way the game's played out on Amazon. They're not liking it. They don't care for it. I'm personally not having any problems with my streaming. And I think if you're having a problem with it, get better internet. I think that'll fix it.
No, I'm just saying there's no preview when you scroll. There's no markers. There's no nothing. It's just shit. It's the worst streaming experience I've had from Amazon.
It's their first year. It's a learning process.
There's no excuse not to have visual.
I mean, look, everybody got it. Everybody's buying it. I mean, that's why they did it. They paid for it. Everybody got Amazon Prime already anyway. If you bitching and moaning about it, grow up and get a Prime account. I mean, come on.
Yeah. I have
like
one.
You don't want shit to your house in 2 days anyway.
I just had to order some stuff today. So
yeah,
look,
there you go. And it'll be there on Friday.
I'm running out of battery, and I am not plugging this thing in. So let's do
All
our
right, so
picks, and then
no,
we'll peace out with that.
our recap of our picks from before. I went 4-0 this week. Won some money. What? Tootsie went 2-2 this week. So that brings our overall totals to Tootsie at 7-5, myself at 9-3. All right, so this week, Tootsie, give us your picks.
All right, guys. So this week I have.
I already had it up for you.
Oh, you already had it up. All right, so I got Tennessee over Indy, the Bears over the Giants. Give me Buffalo over Baltimore. Yes, Baltimore is running white hot, and Buffalo's having some trouble, but they're not dropping 2 in a row. And give me Vegas over Denver because Denver does not deserve 2 wins.
And Vegas is going to get their first win of the season.
Absolutely, they're going to raffle stomp them.
All right, so I got
Bet the
a little
spread,
more
baby.
there. I have the Cardinals over the Panthers, the Cowboys over the Commanders, Chargers over the Texans, and Browns over the Falcons. That is not a misprint down at the bottom. I didn't misspell that. That is what they are. The Falcons. So the Browns over them for this week. That's it for the picks, guy. Anything else? Dumb Stupid Head Award. Is that going to be the butt punt?
Ooh, butt punt or not pulling your quarterback, your injured quarterback in a blowout.
No, screw that. Jimmy
Butt
Garoppolo.
punt.
No, Jimmy
Butt
Garoppolo stepping out the back of the end zone to team
the
up with
safety.
Dan Orlovsky for the
Yes.
safeties.
Yes.
Way to keep your presence on the field and make sure you know where you're at. But good job, Jimmy G. You get the dumb stupid head award of the week.
Yeah,
So,
butt punt was just kind of.
That was
funny.
just hilarious.
Yeah.
But all right, guys, that's all we got. Hope you enjoyed. Like, share, subscribe. Click the right buttons wherever they're at for you. Tell your friends, like we said every week, and thoughts and prayers out to the guys in Florida. Good luck. Hope the best.
Just for everybody out there who is following a fantasy league, the team I got beat by this week.
Yes,
It's so
it's
bad.
appropriate. It's appropriate that it finally got a beating on you. Good night, guys.
Good night.